and he gets just with that John Mobley. They got a hand on his heel.
This is the start that Denver head coach Mike Shanahan's worried about with his defense, his team. Coming off a big game last week, you've got an underdog Bengals team trying to stick the ball at him early. No emotion from the Denver defense. Mobley makes that saving tackle. But right now, Denver's defense is sitting back, and Jeff Blake and this offense is pretty much dictating to them how the pace of this game is going.
And a gain of 20 yards on the play, so back-to-back an 18-yarder followed by a 20-yarder. First down at the 32-yard line of Denver. Here's Carter, left side. Slides down the line. There's nothing there. Michael Dean Perry makes the tackle for the Denver Broncos.
And that was a nice play by Michael Dean, and the kind of play that Denver defense needs. They need, right now, an impact play. Cincinnati's had the impact plays on offense, but this defense just seems a little bit dull right now. Played that big game last week in Kansas City. I've said it already once, but your emotion comes from your defense. And right now, there's not much emotion out of that Denver defense.
For Cincinnati, a double tight end and a slot on the left side. Second down and 10, opening drive of the ball game. Again, good protection and on target of the tight end, Tony McGee. 20-yard line, gain of 12, first down.
Well, two things that Jeff Blake hasn't seen much of lately is time passing and his tight end. Good protection from his offensive line, but more importantly, he gets McGee in the game. McGee is one of the numerous players that's been complaining about not getting the ball enough, not getting the passes from Blake. Well, Blake hasn't been getting that kind of protection from his offensive line to enable him to even get to his tight end, who's usually the third man in the reading progression.
Troy Sandowski now the second tight end in this set for Cincinnati. Sliding left, looking a tackle, and then being driven down. Tijana Carter bound back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be it. Steve Atwater makes the tackle. When he goes wide left or right, he kind of glides and looks around.
Well, against this Denver defense, you better go. Because watch backside what happens when the defense starts penetrating and makes things happen. Okay, Lodish backside, Michael Dean onside, Williams onside. You see what I mean? With that pursuit and that speed, you go. You don't glide.
Jeff Blake has completed 3 of 3 for 52 yards. And here's the draw. Carter straight shot up the middle. Has about 4 yards. Maybe only 3. Alan Aldridge, the middle linebacker, stops him for the Denver Broncos.
Hey, that's a good play against the Denver defense, too, because, you know, Bruce Coslett, the Bengal offensive coordinator, knows that with Perry and these guys blasting up the field, the sacks they've got so far in 96, 16 sacks, they're hungry for more. And a draw is a good play against an aggressive team. That's Bruce Coslett in the white shirt and the headset there with the glasses on.
9th play of the drive, 3rd down and 7. Again, all the time in the world, comes back and throws a deep fade with no one there. A flag goes down. He was looking right, then came back and threw it left into the end zone. Nobody near it.
Well, Blake sat back there, and he was sitting back inside the pocket, Charlie. He had all the protection he needed, like you noted, but then he threw that one away and never got outside the pocket.
Here's the call on the flag.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 8. 10 yards. Lost him down. 4th down.
Remember, here's the tackle. Here's the tackle. He doesn't leave that pocket. He can't just throw it away. Once you're in that pocket, protection, chunk it. There was no imminent pass rush. There was no problem. You can't just stand there and throw it to absolutely nobody.
I thought somebody was going to be there, and they were.
That's his story, and he's sticking to it, Charlie. But, I mean, there was nobody there but an orange cone. They are wearing black and orange, but that cone isn't one of their receivers.
Artie Smith, a late arrival on the field goal attempt by Doug Pelfrey of 44 yards. And it is good from 44 yards away, opening drive. And Cincinnati is on top, 3-0 back for the kickoff.
Finding oneself alone in this world can be terrifying.
Poor thing, you must have fallen out.
His born-on date told me he was quite young, and I knew I must return him to his family to ensure he's consumed at optimum freshness.
I don't see him, do you?
Excuse me, he's lost.
Lost beer coming through. See him?
We'll find him any minute. I can feel it.
Excuse me, don't give up. Hey, who's missing a bottle? Got a lost bottle here.
Budweiser. Brewery fresh taste. Strictly enforced.
Don't worry, little fella. We'll find him.
Billy Medved has never missed a summer vacation at his cousin's. With roadside assistance from Liberty Mutual, he always makes it.
Oh, Billy! When you love me.
Fortunately, with roadside assistance, he's guaranteed he can leave. If you have car trouble, we'll send help. Anywhere, fast. Safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of Liberty. Liberty Mutual.
I helped my dad build this place. Well, help. I was so small I could barely swing the hammer. But he taught me a lot about tools. He used to say, you can buy cheap tools every couple of years. Or you can buy Stanley once.
Since 1843, a company from New Britain, Connecticut has been helping people do things right. Stanley.
I even take my tape roll fishing. Well, that way I'll know how big a story to tell.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better.
Here is Jeff Blake, the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, at an opening drive, and they scored the 44-yard field goal. Doug Pelfrey, consuming 5:20. And Cincinnati kicks off with Vaughn Hebron, the deep back. Vaughn takes it on the 5, 10. Puts the tackle at 20, breaks clean. Nice move. He spun down around the 31-yard line. Anthony Ambrose with the tackle as John Elway comes out for the Denver Broncos. And his offense. First, their offensive line.
This group has really just molded themselves. Alex Gibbs, their line coach, has done a great job. This is a straight-ahead attacking running team.
And the backs and receivers.
My favorite guy, Terrell Davis, great running back, but I love watching Shannon Sharp and John Elway work.
And the Bengal defense very concerned about number 84. Little play-action fake back underneath the coverage to this side, and got Aaron Craver out of the backfield. Oh, interesting start. Now the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals, that will have to stop this offense of the Broncos. Their front four.
Well, John Copeland making a comeback, hasn't played since early in the opener, playing next to Wilkinson. They think that really fortifies this number 3 rushing defense in the NFL.
Linebackers in secondary.
New guy, Corey Sawyer, in there starting today for the Cincinnati Bengals at cornerback. Jimmy Spencer had a little mishap with a kitchen knife, cut off the tip of his left thumb, actually. So Corey Sawyer will be in there, and look for Anthony Miller and John Elway to see how Mr. Sawyer's doing today early.
And they're sticking with that story of the kitchen accident, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's Aaron Craver, by the way, who caught that little dump pass up from John Elway. They open up with a little deceiving.
Yes, picking up 13 yards on the play.
Charlie, if you're worried about Terrell Davis, you're worried about Shannon Sharp, what do? You throw that ball off there into the flat to your fullback, and he immediately goes to the ground and grabs that left knee, and things happen quickly on AstroTurf. Not only cuts, not only sprints, not only moves by defensive ends, little things and little tweaks are really accented on this stuff. So you can hurt yourself just running on this stuff.
We've had a lot of rain here in the area over the past several days. In fact, it was pouring when we arrived in on Friday night, and rain yesterday morning. You can see here on the artificial surface here, where it is still, the dark part where it's still wet and a bit slippery.
Yeah, but AstroTurf, Charlie, it's not like grass. You got AstroTurf. You can do wonders with a squeegee and a Zamboni out here, and you got a pretty playable field.
Reggie Rivers, now the running back, complimenting Terrell Davis. Elway again fakes. He goes deep. Anthony Miller, and he can't have it. Nice defensive play. Ashley Ambrose, great coverage downfield, flag back at the 40-yard line. Boy, Ambrose stayed right with Anthony Miller.
Little illegal use of the hands on a Denver offensive lineman. This pass downfield, very strong. You're worried about John Elway's arm?
Hands to the face, number 75 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
No reason to worry. I think Miller just sort of lost that thing amid the jostling with Ashley Ambrose.
Penalty on Brian Habib. Ball back to the 33-yard line. The first down and 20. 8:43, that's the time remaining first quarter. The Bengals are up by a field goal, 3-0, Elway to throw. This is a screen. Nobody's there. Now that's grounding. Are they going to call it? They're going to.
Here comes the flag from the official.
And it was.
That's the referee's call. Walt Coleman's our referee today.
Here's Mike Shanahan, the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Now what John Elway is complaining about, remember, outside the pocket, they take care of the quarterback, and you're allowed to do that. The tackles constitute the pocket. Does he get outside the tackle? Nope.
Almost. Step away.
But Terrell Davis is in the general vicinity. Usually they'll give a veteran like Elway a pretty wide general vicinity, and Terrell Davis was there.
And the ball now has gone back to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's sort of a things are even now, Charlie. That's a pretty questionable grounding with a guy that close.
Second down and 33. Another flag is down. Underneath the coverage is Ed McCaffrey. But there's another flag.
You know, yellow is not a team color of either one of these teams, and it might be after the way this first quarter's gotten off to. Another illegal hands to the face by an offensive lineman, no doubt.
Now remember, it was second down and 33. It'll either be third down and 33 or second down and 43.
Hands to the face, offense number 75.
Brian Habib again.
Third down.
Well, it's Brian Habib, and watch what happens. Right guard, right in here. Check it out. You know, we just say all the time, folks, you could call a penalty every play, and yes, his left hand is in Wilkinson's face. Our officials today are trying to prove the point that, yes, you can call a penalty on every play.
They picked up 5 yards, Senior refused, so it is third down and 28. Here's Terrell Davis, cuts back to the 40, and a little dive and scoot at the end. He's going to be shy of the first down. Remember that it was third down and 28. He almost got it all back. Picked up more than 20 yards on the play.
And that's what this running back, Terrell Davis, can do. Just a little student body left a little with Zimmerman coming around as his lead blocker. Gets a nice block. John Copeland, right there, 92, coming from the off-end position. Great pursuit, and he keeps Terrell Davis from getting the first down, because you can tell right there, Terrell was looking for more than that first down marker. He was looking for 6.
And a gain of 23 yards. The Bronco is down at the 30-yard line on the near side. So we have an official's timeout. We're going to take this timeout. We'll step aside. We'll be back in a moment. Cincinnati leads Denver 3-0.
It's about time and finding faster ways to take new ideas board to reality. It's about the search for methods to make machinery last longer. Or make a long drive seem shorter. It's about making time to look beyond the obvious. And most of all, about taking time to listen. All things change through time. Cars, trucks, and a company.
How's business? Good question for sales or accounting, but not one you'd ask your shipping department. Until now. Introducing UPS Online. Powerful software, not just to point, click, and ship, but to tell you how a product is moving in the Northeast. Customize delivery schedules. Even prepare export documents. With UPS Online, your shipping department becomes a high-speed on-ramp to the information highway. UPS, moving at the speed of business.
This is the NFL on NBC.
There's Mark Schlereth, who was down on the field. What happened to him? Remember I talked about the AstroTurf. Here he is right here. Watch his left foot. It doesn't take much to grab. Zimmerman's foot gets in the way. See a little high-speed wobble of the left ankle. That's what happened, and that's why, to a man, players hate AstroTurf, especially guys like Schlereth that have had 11 knee operations.
Schlereth is from Anchorage, and by the way, only one of 4 Alaskans now playing in the National Football League. Here's the kick, almost blocked. Oh, Tom Ruin barely got it away. On the return, Corey Sawyer at the 10, and he leaves out across the 15 to possibly the 17-yard line. On the return, Rondell Jones was there for Denver. We've got a timeout, and Cincinnati leads 3-0.
Can this simple structure make a car more fun? Well, if you work at it. The cross members in the undercarriage of a Dodge Stratus make the rail stiffer, which make the frame stronger, which make the ride better, and make the car more fun to drive. You can be sure we've been working on the rail all the livelong day. Dodge Stratus. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you and get $500 cash savings on Stratus.
This is the Pentium processor inside the PC that runs the CD-ROM that lets you plan a vacation by taking a virtual tour. And since it is a connected CD-ROM, it hooks to a related website through your PC's internet link. So you can go online to book a hotel, which makes you happy that you have a Pentium processor.
Cold will sneak into your house anywhere it can, but Owens Corning has a lot of ways to make cold feel most unwelcome. Like our pink fiberglass and rigid foam insulation, house wrap, and windows. Together they're on guard all around the house to keep comfort in and cold out. After all, there's a system to these things. Owens Corning, system thinking for the home.
Dateline Sunday, Johnny Cochran. He won the most stunning acquittal in history.
Not guilty of the crime of murder.
But what did Johnny really know? Katie Couric's exclusive interview, Dateline Sunday.
Two-time U.S. Women's Open champion Annika Sorenstam, Dottie Pepper, Michelle McGann, and more tee off at the Jow Big Apple Classic next Saturday on NBC.
Here's the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, Dave Shula. Their record is 1-2 this year, losing their first 2, a bye last week. They defeated New Orleans here 2 weeks ago. They were expecting big things out of the Bengals this year. They were talking a playoff team. It was very sluggish start.
They're being held back by an inferior offensive line, and you need an offensive line if you want to build anything special.
A little play action fake. Pass is way overthrown. Ray Crockett had the coverage. Carl Pickens, the intended receiver. Again, here's Dave Shula.
Well, I was one of the people, Charlie, too, during the offseason that said I thought them and Baltimore had a great chance in the AFC of being real surprise teams based on what Jeff Blake and this offense had done last year.
Particularly the second half of last year.
But they had injuries in their offensive line. They've had to play rookies, and they've looked like an offense with a lot of rookies playing because these guys have had some vapor locks and forgotten their assignments on numerous occasions.
And you have told me numerous times there's never been a great team in the National Football League that does not have an outstanding offensive line. This is Tony McGee, the tight end, brought down by John Mobley and Ray Crockett as we go to Greg Gumbel in New York for an update. Greg.
All right, Charlie, at Pittsburgh, 2 Houston turnovers led to a touchdown and a field goal. Then a blocked field goal led to this. Mike Tomczak, 63 yards. What a great catch by Charles Johnson with the extra point. The Steelers with a 17-0 lead on the Houston Oilers. They're still in the first quarter, Charlie.
Already? They started the same time we did. Whoa. 3rd down and 4. Here's Cincinnati leads by 3. Far side. Throwing behind Kijana Carter.
That's one of the keys today for Blake and his offense is to try to move Kijana around and get him the ball in different places. And a lot of the stuff that happened in the first series, a lot of that great protection and running the ball didn't happen in this series here. You mentioned about that offensive line and you know, great teams don't have it. Well, even average teams that want to be great, that's where you build the most things and make them happen. In the offensive and defensive line. Cincinnati's got the D-line, but their offensive line is light years behind you.
Here's the kick by Lee Johnson. Todd Kinchin. It goes way over his head. Now he touches it, and Cincinnati can recover it. A terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. Jeff Hill recovers.
That is your typical post big game stupid move by a football player. Last week's Kansas City game, Mike Shanahan's Broncos lost that tough one, and right now, mentally, they're not here for a football game. Physically, they're here, sure, but Todd Kinchin knows better than this. There's no way you try to do that. You've made the mistake of letting it bounce and losing it. Don't compound that mistake by touching it.
A 53-yard kick by Lee Johnson over the head of Todd Kinchin, and that started it all.
Well, remember what I said, too, about emotion being a key, defense being the key to your emotion? Well, if you're mentally not here and you emotionally don't really have it going on, you better find it defensively right here or you're going to be down 10-zip.
The ball just outside the 10-yard line of Denver and a first down. High stepping over the right side is Garrison Hurst. Hurst is the backup running back. There's been a lot of controversy about that. Signed for more than $2 million as a backup running back, and he's been complaining that he's not getting the ball enough.
Well, I guess for $2 million, you have a license to yap. But if I was Garrison Hurst and the team picked me up and was willing to pay me $2 million, I'd keep my mouth shut and be happy when they did let me play. They've got a Kijana Carter. They drafted high. They paid a lot more money than they got invested in this guy.
Play action fake. End zone. Tip intercepted. Denver has the ball.
What a
Tyrone Braxton.
Charlie, what a nice play by Tyrone Braxton. This is a classic tip drill for a defensive back. Jeff Blake, look at Bruce Coslet, the offensive coordinator, talking to Blake, saying it was almost there. Look how close the almost was to Pickens. Atwater muscling Pickens a little. Blake avoids the rush. Atwater just gets the tip in there. And Braxton has practiced that time and time again in training camp for the Denver Broncos. The ball gets in the air. The defenders figure it's ours. The great ones like Jerry Rice, they say that ball's mine. But I tell you what, Todd Kinchin, I'd buy a little hamburger or a birthday steak or something right now for the job Tyrone Braxton did.
So Denver starts now at their own 20-yard line. Cincinnati still leads by a score of 3-0. Anything there for Terrell Davis? No. Rico McDonald, the linebacker for Cincinnati, leads the defense.
Hey, Charlie, I talked about, Kijana Carter had to stop looking and start running, and That just goes to prove right there, the guy that's leading the NFL in rushing, though he is young, Terrell Davis, can suffer sometimes from the same thing of trying to look a little bit too much and not just sort of run. Sometimes it's a success to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Dan Wilkinson also had a piece of the play. Double tight in on the set. Elway to throw. Tipped by Cincinnati, and it's incomplete.
Oh, Ashley Ambrose, great anticipation. Talk about jumping on a route. John Elway was looking there the whole time, and he started running about 2 seconds before Elway threw that pass.
He was looking at Anthony Miller, Ashley Ambrose, as all cornerbacks are supposed to do, watching the eyes of the quarterback, John Elway in this case, and it led him to the ball.
He was thinking touchdown and what he was going to do afterwards, and he didn't catch the ball.
Elway has completed 2 of 4 for 17 yards. Third down and 10. 5 wide receivers, shotgun, nobody to block. Over the middle, Shannon Sharp, diving reception. That is his first reception of the ball game. Steve Tovar with the tackle. And Sharp gets great matchups, and he looks for those matchups, doesn't he?
He's something, Charlie. There he is in the slot, 84. He's the unchallenged best tight wide receiver in the NFL. Here's a guy that's 230 pounds. That when John Elway sees a matchup on a linebacker or a strong safety, he's got to control himself to stop from giggling so much and giving away where he's going to go with it.
Third down and 10, pick up of 17 yards, back to the ground, straight up the middle. Here's Terrell Davis. He's stopped by Dan Wilkinson.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah, that's a matchup I really like, is running things inside. And John Elway knows that, you know, his passing numbers are going to get better the better that inside run gets for the Broncos. But when you're running at this Bengals defense, you're running to where they live if you're going inside. Remember, you're going inside there at Wilkinson and Tim Johnson and that middle linebacker, Steve Tovar.
Second down and 8. Terrell Davis is remaining back. Now 3 wide receivers on this set. Elway, good protection. Goes to the far side to Dwayne Carswell. He's going to step out of bounds. They're going to stop it right there at the 39-yard line. It'll be third down and 8. Elway getting very good protection this afternoon.
Well, he really is. See, when he was warming up today, he wasn't wearing those elbow pads he's wearing right now. Remember I talked about the bursa sack thing.
What is a bursa sack?
It's a protective covering in your elbow joint. But when you don't have one and you get a bruise like Elway does, it's like having an exposed nerve. It hurts all the time.
Elway from the shotgun, scrambles out to the right, throws downfield. It is high. It is pulled down by Anthony Miller. Converting on 3rd and 10 at the 20-yard line. Now converting on 3rd and 8 at the 39-yard line to the Cincinnati 35.
Well, you don't worry about John Elway and those elbow pads when you got him behind the offensive line and he's in the pocket. But if he starts scooching around, and you can't call that a scramble, it's kind of a scooch. When he starts scooching around, he gets dangerous out of the pocket.
26 yards on that scooch.
Yeah.
That'll become an official category of the National Football League.
Well, at least a new Elway. At least a new Elway stat for the media guide in Denver.
Play action fake. John has all the time in the world. They buy every fake. Now he's going to throw this one away. Now he can throw that one away. That's okay because he's outside of the tackle.
And he also had a receiver in the general vicinity. And he got a little bit more of the general vicinity there outside the pocket. But you're right, Charlie. I mean, they're not going to call grounding on a quarterback now if he's that far outside of the pocket. But that's where Elway's the most dangerous. That was a sprint out pass. That was not a scooch from a pocket to an outside.
All right, Denver now needs second down and 10 yards. They need a 10-yard scoop for a first down. I like that. Elway wants to screen. He really sets up deep. He's going to be sacked. Tim Johnson and John Copeland each get half a sack.
John Copeland back in the lineup. Watch the right tackle Thompson working on Copeland. You'll see Johnson come free in the middle. But it's Copeland coming from the outside that absolutely gave Elway nowhere to go. And talk about a sit-and-duck target. Good job by Copeland. He hasn't played since that first game.
First sack of the ball game. Elway has 4 receptions to 4 different receivers. Now he has 3rd down and 20. Can he do it again? He has. Yes, he's going to convert on his third down and long. This is Ed McCaffrey. 3rd down and 10, 3rd down and 8, and 3rd down and 20.
What fabulous concentration by McCaffrey, the receiver out of Stanford. Shanahan brought him here after his experience at San Francisco. Good contact, good concentration, nice pass from Elway.
KFC presents
20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown!
Bringing It Home.
Go Giants!
In Super Bowl 25, the gritty New York Giants controlled the ball for more than 40 minutes, a Super Bowl record, to keep high-powered Buffalo in check. And when the Bills' last-second field goal attempt failed, the Giants captured their 2nd Super Bowl title.
If you think KFC just serves the Colonel's original recipe chicken, think again. There's plump, juicy, tender roast, our new roasted chicken served in pieces, and the Colonel's crispy strips freshly prepared all day. At KFC, our menu is getting so big you might need a bigger table.
Everybody needs a little KFC.
Now fill your plate with 2 pieces of new tender roast or 3 Colonel's crispy strips, plus mashed potatoes, gravy, coleslaw, and a biscuit at a special September price, just $2.99. What's the difference between noise and sound? Noise is what the Dodge Stratus engineers did away with, using high-tech insulation, multiple door seals, vibration-defeating suspension. And sound? Those are the pleasing frequencies they left. The exhaust note, for instance, was tuned by a musician, and it goes something like this. Dodge Stratus. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you and get $500 cash savings on Stratus.
Your mission? Win the game day sweepstakes. On October 6th, a package will be delivered to your door.
He means the Sunday paper.
In it, find your NFL on NBC game piece. Hey, we're undercover! Then watch the NFL game on NBC and match the secret symbols.
You could win this ultimate home theater.
Or other great prizes. See you Sunday, October 6th. Take the mission.
You're trying to influence the safety with those 3 wides. You bring McCaffrey down the slot, and that's what happens. Safety can't help late. McCaffrey gets down the slot. Big completion for a 1st down, followed by 2 great hits by the Cincinnati defense.
At the 11-yard line, Elway's chase. He throws this one away. Now, he does, but he gets away with it because he had a receiver over there. Was that Aaron Craver was close to it. Steve Tovar was putting the pressure on him, and he just got rid of it.
Oh, I love the end of that one.
That's a veteran play.
Hey, Tovar put a little booster rocket on Mr. Elway. Elway was dropping back in that pocket pretty fast, and when Tovar hit him, he gave him about a 40% speed increase. Went into a forward roll, a sideward somersault, and good blitz. Good chance taken by Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator.
4 wide receivers plus Shannon Sharp. In zone, it's caught it. Sharp. Yes, Shannon Sharp has it. His 2nd reception of the ball game and his 2nd touchdown of this season. And Cincinnati, their defense was worried about number 84. They talked about him to us all day yesterday. We got to jam him. We got to keep him inside. They let him loose, and this is what he'll do.
I still don't know why so many people worry about John Elway's elbow when he's got these kind of receivers. Hey, folks, that wasn't a 70-yard bomb, but you get just as many points for it, especially when you can find the hole in the defense like Sharp did and deliver it with perfect touch and velocity like Elway.
And Jason Elam adds the point after, and Denver takes the lead for the first time in the ball game. The score is Denver 7 and Cincinnati 3, and we have 1 minute and 4 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first quarter. Tuesday in prime time, a program note at 8 p.m. Eastern, Game 1 of the division series, as the New York Yankees will host the Texas Rangers. Home run hitter Juan Gonzalez of the Rangers will test his power versus veteran pitcher Dave Cone of the Yankees. The Yankees and the Rangers, that's Game 1, Tuesday at 8 p.m., 5 Pacific here on NBC.
Hey, Charlie, what a turnaround off that Todd Kinchin muff-type punt return. David Shula had to be extremely anticipating, if we're getting some points, we might be able to go up 10 zip. What a turnaround. A tipped interception by Braxton. Elway leads his team back down the field right there after a couple big third down completions. Gets himself a touchdown, and, you know, suddenly Shula goes from thinking 10 zip to 7-3.
An 80-yard touchdown drive in 11 plays. David Dunn and Jeff Hill are the deep backs. Jason Elam, who just added the point after, is going to kick it away. He's bothered by a bit of a hip flexor. He missed 2 field goal attempts in the Kansas City game. You don't normally have him do that. And here is Jeff Hill in the return. Sits the tackle. No, he doesn't. 20-yard line. Reggie Rivers stayed with him. And you're looking at the quarterback, Jeff Blake. Do we have a flag? Yes, we do. Denver was offsides on the kickoff.
Well, you definitely want to make them kick that one again because Elam is not getting much distance. And you'll get a good return.
Offsides on the kicking team, number 21. 5-yard penalty, free kick.
Randy Hilliard was offsides. There's that scoring drive that we talked about. 80 yards, 11 plays. Time consumed 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Capped by an Elway to Shannon Sharp 11-yard touchdown pass.
Well, right now the big key is Jeff Blake and Bruce Coslett, his offensive coordinator, have got to get a little rhythm going for Cincinnati. You know, and you got to say, hey, look, the Denver offense has come to play. We need to come to play here for the rest of this half, put some points on the board, because this Denver defense is not going to stay asleep much longer. They made that big play for the interception. But if you're Coslett and you're on the sideline there with Kenny Anderson, you got to check that list, and you got to say, hey, you know, we got to find something for our young quarterback to do.
Wasn't he upstairs earlier?
Yeah, but maybe the air conditioning's gone too high up here and he wanted to get down.
You got to be where the action is. Here's David Dunn. 20-yard line, 25. Little hurdle. Look out for 30, 31-yard line. Byron Chamberlain makes the tackle. Here's a look at the ticker. You can check out the scores of your favorite team in the National Football League. Of course, stay with us at halftime for the Domino's Pizza halftime report with Greg Gumbel and company. And they will be updating all the scores and highlights. The score here is Denver 7, Cincinnati 3 with 47 seconds left to go. First quarter.
It's kind of interesting to see Coslett on the sideline, though, with Kenny Anderson. I think the last time I saw him on the sideline wearing a headset like that was when he was the head coach of the Jets.
I think you're right. Cincinnati starting from their 31-yard line. Here's a delayed screen to Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy was the remaining back who just slipped out of the backfield. Alan Aldridge makes the tackle. And he's going to pick up the first down at the 44-yard line.
Well, we took a look a little while ago at Coslett and Anderson on the sideline there with their lists. Well, you see that list. He found something on that list, attacking the aggressive Denver defense, and that was a quick screen to Bieniemy. Got to get the rhythm going. Remember I talked about rhythm. Quarterbacks have rhythm, coordinators have rhythm, and they got to be the same rhythm.
The fullback is Jeff Cochran. Garrison Hurst is the tailback. And we've got 2 flags. Ray Crockett got there too quickly. Al Pickens, the intended receiver.
Look at Ray there. Like, yeah, I
come
know
on,
it.
guys.
He knows he did it. He just got there a little, about 2 yards too soon.
Well, if you got to get there early, you might as well really get there early.
Interference. Defense, number 39. First down.
48-yard line.
And Charlie, it says something about the aggressive nature of Crockett. Remember, this guy popped his shoulder out of joint last week during the football game. They popped it back in. They gave a little treatment to it this week.
Just when you say that hurts my shoulder.
Doesn't it? Well, he said it's no big deal. It happens a lot.
Maybe it does to him. Here's the tailback. Coming through it is Garrison Hurst. And with that play, we come to the end of the quarter. Tyrone Braxton with the tackle. And after the first period of play, the Broncos leading the Bengals 7-3.
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions, because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
Jesse, you're next.
I'm all yours.
Save it for the stage, Romeo.
Carol always gives it to me straight. Like when she told me about my...
I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they could come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference? You look great.
Thanks, but will it get me this part?
Couldn't hurt.
Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, break a leg.
Trust. We are not born with an instinct to trust. Trust must be earned. Trust must be proven. We earn it with integrity. We prove it with sound advice. Trust is the ultimate measure of our success. And at Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
This is Charlie Jones along with Randy Cross. All of a sudden we're seeing Garrison Hurst, and he is running like he's running with a vengeance.
Well, he's running aggressively. Remember we talked about Kijana. Don't look, run. Well, that was a job of Garrison Hurst, getting that thing and bam, just going.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, you mentioned earlier, with the fact that they paid a lot of money, more than $2 million, for the backup running back. But if he performs like this, then it is a good investment.
Well, you better get some investment return on it. What is that, 160 grand a week? I mean, at that rate, you're talking a high-dollar mail carrier there.
Cincinnati at the 36-yard line of Denver. First down. Pass is complete to Eric Bieniemy. He's going to pick up about 2.5, maybe 3 yards. Romanowski makes the tackle. Bieniemy, of course, played his collegiate ball in Colorado. Special teams captain for Cincinnati.
And his offense right now has got a little of that rhythm going, Bruce Coslett and Kenny Anderson there have got the rhythm going. Jeff Blake's on the same page with that same rhythm. The key right now is to get the Denver defense to guess and try to take a chance and then take advantage of it.
Second down and 7. Garrison Hurst is the remaining back. Took over the right side. He's got it. He's got the first down. He'll go close to the 20-yard line. He is really exciting in this ballgame. Steve Atwater stops it.
Well, I don't know about the ballgame, but he's exciting these guys right here because this offensive line is starting to block for their offense. They're giving Blake the protection. Tootin gets in there, puts a little smack on Aldridge. That is some offensive line play, which leads to a running back being able to attack the line of scrimmage and get his yards in an offense. Getting a good little rhythm going.
3 carries. He's rushed for 35 yards. Bieniemy back in with Cochran, the fullback. Blake to throw. Pass is complete at the 11-yard line. And inside the 5 is a tight end, Tony McGee. Tyrone Braxton saves the touchdown for Denver. But the Bengals are moving 18 yards on that play.
Well, last year Jeff Blake hit Tony McGee 55 times. It has been the missing ingredient in this offense, mainly because the line hasn't given him the time to look around.
Garrison Hurst back in. Go ahead.
Hey, Charlie, the line's giving him time to look. They're giving him places to run, and this is the offense we were all so crazy about last year at the end of the season when they finished so strong.
First and goal, 3-yard line. Here's a little flare into the corner, and Pickens can't get out to it. He was being jammed inside. Blake now 7 of 12 for 90 yards.
That was a poof. You got a pooch punt, you got a fade pass, and you got kind of a poof pass here. Because look at Hilliard, he takes away that route, he can't get to it, and Blake put the poof up there, and Pickens couldn't get to it.
So it's second down and goal to go, 3-yard line.
And good defense there by Hilliard for Greg Robinson, their coordinator.
Garrison Hurst, the remaining back. And he's going to be stopped. Ball pops loose, and a scramble for it. Denver says they have it. And the Broncos come out with the football.
Oh, are they calling down by contact?
When Tadrez said that he recovered the fumble.
Oh, I That's got to be Broncos ball. I saw that ball coming out before he hit the ground.
We had forward progress, stop. Third down.
We'll take a look.
They're saying the progress was stopped and then the ball was stripped. Watch Garrison. Watch the ball. That is no way. That is a pitiful call. That is a clear fumble. Mike Shanahan's defense just got stuck to him by the guys in stripes.
Bring back the instant replay. Quarterback draw, Blake scores. A gift from the officials. Cincinnati will take it as they regain the lead.
Well, first it was the guys in the black and white stripes that got him, and then number 8, the quarterback of the team wearing the orange and black stripes on their helmet, gets them on the next down with a quarterback draw. A great play call by Bruce Coslet. Good execution by Jeff Blake, and you see what a little rhythm and outside help can do for you.
Doug Pelfrey with the point after. It is going to be good. And Cincinnati now leads by a score of 10-7. And here is the quarterback draw into the end zone. As we step aside, we'll be back with a kickoff in a moment.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Feeling safe, being secure. It's why more families rely on Buick LeSabre than any other full-size sedan. Peace of mind from LeSabre.
Herman Mortgage, right. Don Cornelius, come to ask you a favor. Don Cornelius, can you teach me to dance?
What, like the funky chicken or the mashed potatoes?
Oh, man, like the hands on it. Free your mind, Herman.
And your feet will follow.
Take the oath.
This is my planet.
Herman, you sure you from Motown?
Worried about Dad?
Yeah. But bypasses are pretty common, right?
I guess.
Uncertainty. It's part of any medical procedure, which is why Aetna offers the Cardiac Care Referral Program.
Does that hospital do a lot?
Oh, yeah. They're really very good. They did 460 last year.
Where'd you pick that up?
It's one small part of a big idea we call informed health.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Buick and your local dealers. By AT&T, your true choice. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. And by the new Coors Light Wide Mouth Can. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. Lee Johnson will be kicking off to Vaughn Hebron. It's over 12 and a half left to go in the first half. 8 yards deep, he'll down it. They'll take the touchback. The Bengals have been in Denver's red zone 3 times, a 44-yard field goal, an interception, and then this gift touchdown from the officials.
Well, watch what Bill Romanowski done. Made big plays all year so far. He comes in, he causes this fumble, and yes, folks, this is clearly a fumble and a blown call by the officials. That sets up the quarterback draw by Jeff Blake. Watch the ball pop loose. Romanowski, left hand comes out. Hey, you know, Coach, if you're going to dine on zebra, it's a little easier with a fork and knife than just chewing.
Denver from their own 20-yard line, first down. Elway comes out throwing far side. Anthony Miller incomplete. Now, as you go back to Shanahan, realize that he and John Elway now are one weapon short, as Aaron Craver will not return. He has injured his left knee.
And that's thanks to the AstroTurf here in Cincinnati. That happened on that opening screen pass. And, you know, it's a real challenge now for Mike Shanahan and this Denver Bronco team to get some of their rhythm going, to get some of their emotion going. get it back from where it was in that last drive, because mistakes can be a big distraction.
Elway on that last drive, completing 4 of 7, and this one is incomplete. He's now 0 for 2 on this drive, almost intercepted. Gracie Walker, Carswell the intended receiver, but now playing right into Elway's hands. It's 3rd down.
Oh, exactly. And Elway put that right where it had to be, but that was a nice job of filling up by the safeties of Cincinnati. They took that play away because it was good execution by the offense. But if you're Larry Peccatelli, defensive coordinator of the Bengals, this is perfect. Elway, 3rd and long, your whole package of attack is open.
Elway on his touchdown drive, converting on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, and 3rd and 20. Far side. He converts if it holds up. There's a flag back of the 5-yard line. It is against Cincinnati.
I bet you it's another illegal hands to the face. You saw that forward motion holding the wrist with the hand open. That means illegal use of hands. We've seen 2 against the Denver offensive line. We're going to get a little payback again. I think it's time for Cincinnati to get one.
Illegal use of hands on the defense, hands to the face, number 99. Penalties decline. 1st down.
I have the feeling that a memo came out from the league office said, be sure and watch hands to the face.
Well, watch the hands to the face. Watch Wilkinson, 99. Well, that is a junior achievement award there, because that's not much to that.
Is there anything left side on the ground? No, there's not.
Hey, Artie Smith's a little pumped up, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Last time I checked, Artie, you were paid to stop runs like that. Don't get so excited.
Gain of a yard to the 34-yard line.
I tell you what, Charlie, I kind of wish the officials would stay out of this game right now and just sort of watch, because they're going to miss what could potentially be a pretty exciting game.
A look at the rushing yardage. Here's Terrell Davis. Not a lot there. 47, maybe the 48. Steve Tovar with the tackle.
Yeah, this is not an easy Cincinnati defense to run against. I mean, you just take a look at their guys up front. You know, there aren't very many guys up front in that line that are your basic lightweights. You know, Copeland might be what you call a lightweight, number 92, and he's just 287, 290-ish.
3rd down and 5. Elway has converted 4 of 5 third down opportunities from the shotgun with 5 receivers. Comes out throwing far side. He's got it again. 2nd time in this drive that he's converted on 3rd down. He goes to Sherrard. Jimmy Spencer with the coverage. Well, Spencer has that. Notice that thumb. That thumb is all wrapped up. We'll talk to you about that story.
What's left of that left thumb? He's trying to jam up on the receiver. He doesn't get near him until the end. But see a left hand. He's got it hooked way out, trying to avoid the contact with it. And you know, if a cornerback, much like a lineman, can't use his hands, he's usually not much use.
He cut off half of the tip. Kind of sliced off. He did slice off half of the tip of his left thumb. Here's Terrell Davis. He's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play.
And there's a real analogy there between the lineman and the cornerback. See that left hand? The big thing he's got on that left thumb, and he did slice off the tip, like you said. That means you can't oppose. And that's a fancy term for means you can't grab and hold, which is illegal, but everybody does it. And if you can't grab and hold as a corner, you got a tough time staying with those receivers.
2nd down and 7. Elway has pressure. Goes deep far side. A running grab, Anthony Miller. Perfect throw. And Miller simply ran it down the sideline. He got just half a step on Ashley Ambrose, and that's all that he needed.
Well, you know, Ashley Ambrose, Charlie, tries to take the kind of, you know, the sideline is my friend approach. Well, one of your worst enemies is a quarterback like Elway, that I don't care how much you try to use the sideline, he can lay this thing right on the money. That's a perfectly thrown pass to a receiver he knows has got the jets to get there.
42 yards on the play to the Cincinnati 10-yard line. 1st down. Davis slipping and sliding, and there's nothing there for him.
Well, remember, this Cincinnati defense, Charlie, third in the league against the rush, and you're getting to see a little bit of it here. I mean, Terrell Davis and this Denver offensive line are no slouches. This team's leading the league in rushing, and this front seven right now of Cincinnati's giving them all they really want, trying to run the ball. What Denver has to do is get back to that attacking offense, because Larry Peccatello, standing there for the defense of Cincinnati, is attacking Denver.
Second and goal, 9-yard line. They picked up one. Elway rolls right, buys time. Oh, great protection. He throws it away. Had a man open, had a man deep in the end zone, Anthony Miller. He was not open. He was covered. So he just threw it over his head. But here's the magic down, third down and goal at the 9-yard line.
The red zone, this team at 50% getting touchdowns. I could care less about field goals, being an old offensive guy. I'm kind of like Mike Shanahan there. If I get in the red zone, I want 6. And when you're talking John Elway and Denver in the red zone, you better find out where Shannon Sharp is and take him away first.
5 wide receivers, including Shannon Sharp, who split away the left side. Elway quarterback draw. Now he throws in zone, and it's intercepted. Gracie Walker intercepts it for Cincinnati.
Hey,
the 20, the turnovers that you looked at. John Carter's back as the tailback. Blake to throw, has pressure. Underneath, here's to Carter. And Carter has the first down. Out around the 33-yard line. Let's go back to that interception. Alan Aldridge making the last tackle for Denver. 7th interception that he has thrown this year. Jeff Blake wants to set a screen. Now he scrambles out, and he is down. He'll be touchdown there. Nice defensive coverage by Denver, and the pressure put on by Alfred Williams. Williams, of course, here, the #1 draft choice of Cincinnati in 1991. Michael Dean Perry, formerly of Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, not bad. Not bad for a former washed-up Bengal.
Yeah, that's right.
Guy's having a heck of a year so far, Alfred Williams. He got him free agent-wise from San Francisco, where he did an all-right job, but he's been just what the doctor ordered for Greg Robinson's defense here in Denver, because he has been a force.
Second down and 19. Little swing left, pass is complete. A move here, a move there, and nothing moved for Kijana Carter, and he was dropped by Lionel Washington.
That's just one of the things Kijana's got to learn. You know, you can make guys at Wisconsin or Purdue miss in the open field, but you got to bring on something pretty special in the NFL. You're kind of trying to go one-on-one with a veteran like Washington to make him miss, and he didn't offer up too much in the way of moves.
No gain on the play. Third down and 19. Bengals at their own 20-40-yard line. They lead in the ball game by 3. 10-7 over Denver. And just over 6.5 to go in the first half. Nice protection. Deep over the middle. Pass is caught by David Dunn. But he's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Needed 19. He's only going to get 17. So Lee Johnson will come in to kick it away. Alan Aldridge with the tackle for Denver.
Well, Lee Johnson came into the game this week leading the NFL in punting at about 50 yards a crack. And it's not so much the boom Johnson needs here. It's exactly what Shula would love to see him do, is be able to pin to the sidelines to get the ball where Kinchin can't catch it and return it.
And last time, remember, Kinchin had that muff, and he touched it. This one will go over his head, and it's going to go in the end zone for the touchback. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line with 5:42 left to go first half, and it's Cincinnati 10. Bring updates, game summaries all day long. And we've got a poll question going on. Send any question in for Phil Sims, and he'll answer it. Also, you do things every week for NBC.com/sports.
I do a little Game of the Week feature where I sort of analyze. That's right, I'm an analyst, so I guess I analyze.
Okay. Good. All right, we'll analyze this. Reggie Rivers gets the call. Tries the right side. He's going to pick up 3.
That was a very basic play for the
second down and 7. Elway sets, has pressure. He's going to be sacked. I was looking at Denver's stats. That is the 6th sack for the Bengals. They're not even in the same league as the Broncos, who have 16. Elway, is he going to run? No, he has a man wide open at the 40-yard line, and it's Todd Kinchin. And Elway out of the pocket, scrambling a bit. This is when he's most dangerous. All defensive coordinators say, we want to keep him in. We want to keep him in. Well, they didn't.
Oh, they've been scooched again, the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Elway, that's not scrambling, folks. That's scooching. And you got McCaffrey down because of that big hit. Kinchin gets a chance to get some offensive play time in. He's fumbled the punt, but he holds on to that one after a good crack. And if you're wearing a friendly shirt, number 7's going to find you once he's scooched out of the pocket.
27 yards to the Denver 45-yard line. It's a halfback pass. A rainbow. That's Aaron Craver. Craver has a bad left knee. He's not even supposed to come back in the ballgame.
Well, he's got a bad right arm, too. That was a duck. You know, it's hard to convince a running back, though, when you set that play up. You're supposed to run right like it's going to be a run. But running backs won't do that. They run right, and they've got that ball kind of cradled to their side like they're gonna, like it's a catapult launch.
Double tied in on the set. 2nd and 10. Elway to Dwayne Carswell. They'll mark it at the 50-yard line. 3rd down and 5. I was just thinking, if that was a catapult launch, the aircraft are dropping.
Well, if that was a catapult launch
into the water.
That was an old medieval launch, and it came up about 20 feet short of the wall.
Elway now 11 of 19, 195 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown.
And he can be a frustrating target for a defense, Charlie. A great big quarterback that, because he scooches so well, is hard to hit in the pocket.
3rd and 5. And this is going to be close. They're going to give him the mark of his reception by Shannon Sharp. Bracy Walker was right there with him, and they're going to give it to him. They're going to say he caught it past the down marker. Well, at the 44-yard line of Cincinnati, it's going to be a 1st down.
That was a good call. Watch the job Corey Sawyer does here. Good physical coverage.
Here's the catch.
Bracy Walker, he's already behind right there. See, Bracy Walker working on Sharp. He brings the ball down, and then the ball comes loose. He had possession before that thing popped out.
1st down, 44-yard line of Cincinnati. Play action fake. Elway goes deep over the middle, and it is knocked away. Good coverage. Ed McCaffrey, the intended receiver. Bo Orlando and Corey Sawyer were there.
I'm sure McCaffrey loves playing with John Elway, and he says he's a great quarterback. But, you know, at this rate, McCaffrey's going to need a dentist by the time this game's over, because he's taken a couple of teeth rattlers so far over the middle. Orlando and Bracy Walker are bringing it on these receivers and making them pay for it.
Remember what Orlando told us yesterday, and he said, they say that Elway's in bad health. I said, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And he's right. Here's Anthony Miller. Ambrose with the tackle.
Well, you got to realize, you know, they say Anthony Miller has lost a step as a receiver. He's got a step not a lot of guys have. Same with Elway. They say he doesn't throw as hard as he used to. What, he can't throw it through a wall?
73 yards in the ball game, and Shannon Sharp has 3 for 34 and the touchdown. 3rd down conversion, 7 of 9, 3rd and 5.
And it's been 3rd and long when he's done it most of the time in his first half.
5 wide receivers. Here is the pitch to Davis around the corner. And he just sets sail for the 1st down.
Boy, do the Broncos love running that play to the left.
Ooh, yeah.
And the main reason Terrell Davis loves going to left like that is Zimmerman. Gary Zimmerman, the left tackle. Watch number 65 pull out. He gets out there. Look at the block he gets on Bracy Walker. Knocks Walker down. I mean, that is perfectly diagrammed football into a defensive weakness that you take advantage of.
3rd down and 5. They pick up 17 on the play, and it's a 1st down to the 22-yard line of Cincinnati. Both ball clubs with 3 timeouts remaining. Over the middle, pass is complete. 19-yard line. Shannon Sharp has it. Steve Tovar with the tackle.
Well, I tell you, Cincinnati would love to see Shannon Sharp lined up tight like that in a containable position. You know, Steve Tovar told us that. When you see Sharp lined up at regular tight end, you can jam him, you can do stuff to him, you can keep him in front of him. It's when he's out, away, and loose, you have a hard time keeping track of where he's at.
Denver's timeout. Halftime report with Greg Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Joe Gibbs, and Mike Ditka. And they will be bringing all the scores and highlights of today's action around the league. Plus, Jim Gray interview with Troy Aikman. So stay with us in halftime here on NBC. 18-yard line of Cincinnati. Second down and 6. 1:02 time remaining first half. And Denver is down by 3, 10-7. Elway has completed 15 of 24. He's already thrown for 215 yards. We're in the first half.
And the Bengal defense is begging for some noise out of this crowd.
He's thrown for a touchdown. He's also thrown an interception. And he goes deep into the corner, and Anthony Miller cannot get there. And Elway, meanwhile, takes the shot. James Francis just put a lick on him.
Well, the Cincinnati defense is taking their chances in the red zone. As we saw last time, they're attacking. You get Elway, you better attack him. And if you're going to attack him, you better get there. Francis gets there, and that saves the touchdown because Anthony Miller was open.
Third down and 6, 5 wide receivers. That includes Shannon Sharp. That's who Elway hollers at. Bo Orlando said in this situation they want to plaster Shannon Sharp. This one is drilled to the other side. Ed McCaffrey has it, and he's got the first down. And Elway does it one more time. That's the third time in this drive that he's converted on third down. We'll take a timeout. 51 seconds left, first half.
And the man John Elway spends the most time with offensively, and a great job of play calling by Kubiak and execution of a 2-minute offense by Elway.
Broncos on third down, 9 of 11. Right now they're trailing in the ballgame. Elway, there's that little flare into the corner, and he goes to Shannon Sharp. Shannon is plastered. He can't get away from the defender.
Remember,
Corey Sawyer.
Yeah, it's Corey Sawyer this time. It was Bracy Walker before. It's been a linebacker in Tovar before that. But this is a matchup, if you're playing defense for Cincinnati, you like. Because you're getting away with a little contact down the field. You're doing a little hand fighting, but you got a guy in Sawyer that's faster than Shannon Sharp, that also jumps well, and they can plaster him and get close to him.
Second and goal, 8-yard line. Is there anything on the ground? Ball comes loose. Ball pops loose. Cincinnati has it. Terrell Davis fumbles. James Francis recovers the fumble.
Offense in this game so far, most of which has come from John Elway and the Broncos, but they've had some very critical turnovers deep in their own territory that have killed them. They've got plenty of offense. They just have much execution.
And the second half is now underway. This one will be down in the end zone. They'll bring it out for the touchback. Now let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
Hey, exactly, Charlie, what I was talking about. Look at these two right here. 262 total yards, but 2 turnovers in the red zone. 1 a fumble, 1 an interception, and that doesn't even count Todd Kinchin's punt where he touched it, and Cincinnati recovered it down there in the red zone. So defensively, you're saying, hey, look, we've given them the ball a couple times down deep, and when we're giving up 10 points, but the offense has not finished the deal off.
And in the first half, as you saw, John Elway throwing for 210 yards. And he starts from the 20-yard line. And he has been devastating on third down. Little swing, safety valve to Reggie Rivers. James Francis, who has a fumble recovery, this time hauls in Reggie Rivers. 19-yard line, so they're going to lose one. Second down and 11. Doesn't really get interesting until third down for Elway.
Exactly. The key has not been first and second down for John Elway in this offense. You know, they were, what, 9 of 11 or 7 of 9 in the first half on third down, and most of those were 3rd and 5, 6 plus.
Terrell Davis spins out of the arms of of a waiting defender, but he is dropped immediately. Bracy Walker teaming up with James Francis.
But you know when you go in a restaurant, one door is the indoor, one door is the outdoor, and you always have a big accident when somebody makes a mistake of going in the out or out the in? Terrell Davis goes in the outdoor there and gets rejected by Bracy Walker in the defensive backfield because everybody else is pretty good. He had a pretty good block on.
That'll make a nice book, In the Outdoor.
In the outdoor. Well, some people spend their entire lives trying to go in the outdoor.
3rd down and 8. This is Elway's down. 5 wide receivers. And he scrambles. Pretty nimble. He's out of the pocket. Has time. Still scrambling. He's going to be sacked. They finally got him. It took Dan Wilkinson almost forever. That is the 3rd sack for Cincinnati. Now remember, he only had 4 on the year coming into the ballgame. And Dan Wilkinson always leads interior linemen in sacks. He did last year when he had 8.
Well, he had 3 coming into this game. This will be his 4th of the year, but look how frustrating Elway can be for a big defensive lineman like Wilkinson. He had to stay with it and stay with it. But he got the splatter, the scoocher. Elway scooched around, but the big guy got him.
Tom Rowan will going to kick from the back of the end zone. Corey Sawyer is the return man. Cincinnati should have great field position. Hangs this one up. He's going to stay away from it. That was touchdown field. Cincinnati's going to have the ball in the neighborhood of their own 45-yard line. And there's Big Daddy.
Remember, this should be this big guy's rookie.
8-yard line. And they come out with a double tight end set. And Garrison Hurst is the remaining back. Been very impressive in the ballgame.
Well, he's got this lead at 10-7 with just 1 completion to Pickens and none to Scott.
Here's Garrison Hurst on a quick opener. 49-yard line of Denver. They'll give him 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7. An onlooker very interested in the outcome, and that is Don Shula. Don Shula, Marianne, his wife, they are here. We saw them in the hotel this morning, and he's here, of course, to see Cincinnati. His son Dave is the head coach.
Well, he was in Tampa last week for the Tampa-Seattle game. His other son is the offensive coordinator there. And I've never seen him so excited. A 10-year-old grandson, Chris, is playing a Pop Warner game last night.
Last night, oh, yes.
Just a fine group of well-coached young kids. I'm going to coach for 10 years old.
He was all over the hotel. He was just ready there. Here is Jeff Blake on the move as he sprints out.
Oh, and that is Jeff Blake being Jeff Blake. Remember,
he likes that, doesn't he?
Well, he couldn't go long because people are taking that away, and he hasn't had the time. Well, what he brings to the party, much like a guy that wears number 8 on the left coast, Steve Young, is when he gets out in the open, he can make you pay for big yards. That frustrates a defense. A defense gets frustrated. You're able to run on it a little. He frustrates it like that. They start to take chances. They take chances. You get one-on-one. You get one-on-one, you go deep.
Pickup of 11 yards. Eric Bieniemy now the remaining back. Play action fake. And over his own. Bieniemy really carries out the fake. Meanwhile, Blake is sitting down.
Bieniemy wasn't the only guy that carried out the play.
Alfred Williams, wasn't
he? Carried out the fake well, but Alfred Williams, 91, right in the middle of your screen. Well, it comes off that chop block, runs by Bieniemy, and gets in on Blake. And I don't think that pressure really affected the throw that much. It's good hustle by Williams. It's a bad throw by Blake.
2nd down and 10. Again with 2 tight ends. Nothing there on the ground. Bieniemy is dropped. Jumpy Gather's got it. Did he put his forklift move on? Explain to me the famous forklift move that he makes.
Well, it's where he lifts and moves back an offensive lineman, physically picks him up. Watch Jumpy. He's playing draw. Michael Dean's playing run, playing pass. When you call a draw, you want to beat the guy that's playing pass, but you can't always allow for the guy that's forklifting playing draw back there. A good job of taking care of your responsibility by Gather.
And the forklift, he just opposed to the offensive lineman. He just picks him up and moves him back. Blake's going to be sacked.
And it's not just offensive linemen he can pick up.
And it's Jumpy.
If you push him back far enough, you get to pick you up one of them little guys. Watch the move by Jumpy Gather. He gets a lot of one-on-one blocking because people worry so much about Perry, but he put the forklift on him. Boy, and I mean, you get forklift as an offensive lineman, you get a little embarrassed. That was Scott Brunfield, that right guard. He's got nothing to be concerned about. A lot of guys have been forklift by Jumpy, but it can be embarrassing.
Jumpy says the third step is the power. Shanahan, the head coach of the Denver Broncos, as they start from their own 20-yard line. 10:42, that is the time remaining in the third quarter. Denver trailing by 3, 10-7.
Remember, this offense, Charlie, ran 20 plays last week against Kansas City, completely stalled in the second half.
Here's Terrell Davis. He's going to pick up in the neighborhood of 5, maybe 6 yards on the play. Did you figure that this ball game would have in the third quarter a situation where Cincinnati, the underdog, is leading? And they look like they should be, right?
Got potential because of the emotional factor. Denver not ready to play early has really put themselves in a hole. And offensively, like I said, last week, Denver did not play very well offensively in the second half because of an aggressive Kansas City defense. And so far, Cincinnati's come out just as aggressively.
Here's Terrell Davis, almost breaks it. He'll pick up the first down at the 38-yard line. It'll be a first down.
This new Bronco offense, how they spell relief, how they spell cure, is run. R-U-N by Mr. Davis. You give him the ball over that left side, you get that little quick flip, and you let him go with it.
Steve Tovar with the tackle. He's rushed for 67 yards.
Remember, his worst game of the year so far, I believe, 72 in the opener against the Jets. Every other week, he's been over 100.
Here he is again, Terrell Davis. 41-yard line. He'll have about 3 on the play. R.D. Smith with the tackle, second down and 7.
And the tackling very critical right now for the Bengals because this is a running back they're facing. Don't be lulled if he gets you for a 6 or a 7 or a 3 or a 4. He's got the potential to pop a big one. Last week, 60 yards plus for a touchdown. As you look at what he did going into the game, leading the NFL in rushing, gotten better week by week, and every week there's a big run in there somewhere.
Second and 6. Play action fake by Elway. Steps forward, throws. Under throwing, they're going to say no. McCaffrey came back. He traps it. It's going to be incomplete. That hurts, too, when you come back on this artificial turf.
And you got that.
Oh, it's like diving on a concrete driveway.
It's green concrete is what it is, barely padded. John Elway kind of flutter blasts that thing out there, no big deal. But look what McCaffrey lands on top of the ball. That's not a shoulder. That's a direct shot right into the stomach. And
with the injury timeout, we're going to step aside. We'll be right back. Fell on the ball.
Well, the only thing that comes to mind is when you see it, the first thing you think of is, oh, that's got to hurt.
It does.
There's a couple pictures you can be shown in a sporting event that's the first thing you think of.
Third down and 6, 9 of 12, third down conversion.
A gaudy number.
5 receivers again on third down. Elway's going to be sacked.
Corey Sawyer coming on a corner blitz. Gets himself a sack and a great chance taken by Larry Peccatello to get their 4th sack on John Elway.
And matches their sack total for the season. They now have 8. They had 4 coming in.
Coming from the right side, here it is. I think that's just a matter of communicating your blocking pattern right there on the left side with Zimmerman and company in that offensive line. With Zimmerman and Schloreth or Zimmerman and Diaz and Fontes not in there at left tackle, left guard.
Tom Royne to kick. Greg Myers from Colorado, went to high school there at Windsor, played his collegiate ball at Colorado State. He said, I want my friends at home to see that I'm playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati leading by 3, 10-7. They start from their own 22-yard line. And pumping up the middle is Garrison Hurst. Across the 45 to the 46-yard line. 26 yards on the play.
And it's aggressive running straight ahead and exploding into the hole by Hurst is what's keeping Ki-Jana Carter on the sideline for the Bengals. Hey, maybe this guy did know something the coaches didn't know for the Bengals, complaining that he wasn't getting his shot, because I'll tell you right now, night and day difference between he and Ki-Jana Carter. This guy gets the ball and goes, having been a former 1,000-yard rusher last year, instead of looking and hoping like Carter was early.
6 carries for 62 yards to Garrison Hurst. Here he is again, and he'll be dropped for a loss. You mentioned the fact that Ki-Jana Carter's on the sideline. He's had only 1 carry since the first quarter. He's had only 4 in the ball game for a total of 9 yards. Now he's going to come out on 2nd down and 13.
They've got a very expensive running back duo when you talk about Ki-Jana Carter and Garrison Hurst. Once again, as we saw earlier in the game in the first half, Ki-Jana Carter lining up at the bottom of the screen at wide receiver.
So he splits away wide to the left. Pass goes to the opposite side. Darnay Scott, but Crockett simply wouldn't let him go. He just grabbed a hold of him. He had an ankle, and that was all, but he held on to all of it.
Well, you got to think these corners are doing one heck of a job for the Broncos right now, because you're not seeing these wide receivers do much at all. That's Darnay Scott's first catch of the day. Pickens has got 1. So, I mean, Washington and Crockett are shutting the outside passing game down.
3rd down and 8 at the 48-yard line. Blake, quick drop, diving, try to catch, incomplete.
Another good play by the guy on the other corner.
Carl Pickens, the intended receiver, Lionel Washington in the cover.
Watch what Washington does. We talked about, hey, when Sharp gets out there, you got to plaster him. Look at Washington doing a little plaster job on Pickens. He's right there. He's as much of a nuisance as he is a coverage guy on that play, but sometimes being a nuisance is enough to get a receiver ranting and raving on the sideline and not real happy.
Bronco defensive cornerback stopping the drive of Cincinnati. They'll be kicking. Todd Kitchen is the return man. Going for the corner, is not going to make it.
So far in this game, they've got 1 penalty for 10 yards. I mean, that's been accepted. They've made a couple of mistakes that have been turned down, but that's the key to winning a ball game, is keeping your penalties down.
Away from the 20-yard line, sets up and fires. It's complete to Ed McCaffrey. He has 9 yards on the play as we go to New York for an update on the Houston-Pittsburgh game.
All right, Charlie, at Three Rivers Stadium, Houston, on their opening drive of the second half, finally gets into the end zone. Chris Chandler rolls and finds Willie Davis in the end zone, 4 yards away with the extra point. The Oilers on the board. They trail the Steelers 20-7 in the third. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Greg. Here, Denver trying to get something going in the second half. They've been unable really to get on track in this half. Terrell Davis gets the call. And Rico McDonald makes the start.
Well, really, Denver has nobody to blame but themselves. They've got 3 turnovers down in the red zone when they had scoring opportunities. They've had an interception, a fumble, and a fumble punt. So, you know, Mike Shanahan had to go in at halftime and say 2 things. 1, hold on to the ball. And 2, offensively, we need production in the second half. We can't have a repeat of 3 and punt, 3 and punt, 4 and punt. See ya.
Denver from the 34. Elway sets about 12 yards deep. He goes to Ed McCaffrey. And he has a stumbling grab and a first down. Bo Orlando is the man who stopped McCaffrey.
Boy, these receivers really know how to take advantage of a defense, especially with crossing patterns. McCaffrey there, unfortunately for him, almost landed on the ball again, but he runs this crossing pattern very well, and Elway takes the time, because he has the time and protection, for McCaffrey to get all the way across the field. That's the key there. You saw how long that pattern is. That means a lot of protection.
22 yards. Here's Terrell Davis on the right side. Hasn't had the success running right as he has had running left. But he continues to pound it away. Dan Wilkinson with the time rushing yardage. Denver 86, Cincinnati 77. 3.5 minutes plus remaining third.
Coming into the game, Cincinnati only had 200 yards rushing in the last 3 games. Denver in 4 games had, what, 735 yards?
Yes.
So, I mean, there really was no comparison. It's pretty close right now.
2nd down and 8. Elway throws on the break. Incomplete.
Corey Sawyer once again.
Plastering at McCaffrey.
Boy,
McCaffrey's really taking a beating, isn't he?
He has got to be taking inventory right about now. He has gotten hit in the ribs. He has got hit in the back. He has landed on a football a couple of times.
Ooh.
And now he takes a front and back double team from Sawyer and Bracey Walker.
They get him with a sandwich.
Yeah, that was an awful difficult contact right there. Because he was getting hit from the back by Sawyer, and then Bracey Walker put a shoulder right into his chest-chin area. Ball, and Bracey Walker comes in there and really cracks him from the front.
Something that he was doing that you pointed out yesterday when we were talking is that once Elway has...
He else has got to start stepping up and making the tough catches for the Broncos.
He keeps 2 backs in with him on the shotgun and 2 wide receivers. Normally he's been alone with a flag is down, going deep to Anthony Miller. He is overthrown. We've got a marker back at the 41-yard line.
You're going to have another illegal hands to the face, and I think it's going to be against the Bengals.
You're right. That's the...
On 3rd down can really be something that an offense enjoys. Hand to the face. Hand to the face. Hand to the neck. But no hands to the face. Another bad call in a game where that has been sort of the norm.
And an automatic 1st down. Ball now 37-yard line. Play action fake. Look out. Here comes the blitz. Shannon Sharp at the other end. And anytime Elway gets in trouble when he's got a blitz or pressure, he looks for Shannon Sharp, and Shannon always manages to be open.
But Charlie, a veteran like Elway, knows that blitz is coming. He knows his tight end will be there with a little chip on the linebacker. He'll settle in the flat. But John Elway whipped around and was ready to throw the second he whipped around. Young quarterbacks don't make that quick a decision. He knew the blitz was coming. He knew as soon as he turned his back, he better be ready to throw it, and he was.
And he throws it for 14 yards in the 1st down. Denver trailing by 3. Pump fake wants to go deep in the corner. Anthony Miller, does he have it? And holds it. Yes, he does. Touchdown, Denver. Elway to Miller. Anthony Miller's 4th touchdown of the year. And John Elway's 7th touchdown pass. He has 2 in this ballgame. That one for 23 yards.
Well, if you need any more evidence that Elway's arm is sore, Elway's arm hurts, but Elway's throws are not affected by the pain, there was a great example for you. That one was thrown about 45, 50 yards on a line, dropped into his receiver.
And the extra point is up, and it is good by Jason Elam. And Denver has retaken the lead. Out in front by 4, 14-10.
Well, there's Anthony Miller. Watch the pattern he runs. He does a nice job, but the play here is number 7. The quick pump fake. He gets a little bite out of the corner, but look at this pass. You got to be kidding me. I mean, that almost makes the defensive back null and void. This is not a drop-in rainbow shot like Jeff Blake throws. This is a ball drilled right over the top of a defender into the arms of his receiver.
And over the shoulder and head of Ashley Ambrose of Cincinnati.
And what a great advantage for a Mike Shanahan, too, to have these types of weapons in Denver when he brought this offense here. You know, much like the offensive situation on the other side of the field for Cincinnati with Blake and Pickens and Scott, they've got some good weapons, but I tell you what, they've got some stuff in Denver that is the total package.
Denver 14, Cincinnati 10. The Broncos just piecing together that 80-yard touchdown drive. Remember the touchback with the penalty? They said, we want the football, and they took it at the 20-yard line and moved 80 for the score. Here's the kick. This is Jeff Hill on the return. Jeff to the 20, 25. A couple of good moves in the open field out to the 30-yard line.
Ball's on the ground.
Denver says they have it.
Got to be determined as if it went down before the man was down. But I think Denver has the ball. Officials are saying it is Cincinnati's ball. That ball was clearly on the ground, though. That's got to be another one of those forward motion or down by contact, because that ball was fumbled. Now watch him go through. He's going to hit the dog pile here, then the ball comes out. See, it's out. Now it's cleanly out. You know what he did? He managed to pin that thing against his hip for that long. That was a heck of a good play, I got to tell you, because that ball was away from his body against his hip.
So Jeff saves the day for Cincinnati, and they have the ball at their own 31-yard line. And scooting through once again is Garrison Hurst. Alan Aldridge with the tackle. Hurst coming into the ballgame with a total of only 21 yards rushing, 15 for 21, and an average of only 1.4 yards per carry. And he has got 65 yards in 8 carries.
And a lot of that directly attributable to hitting the hole fast and getting some good blocking up front.
Second down and 3. There was not a lot there, and he still managed to pick up a few yards as we pick up our way and go to New York.
And we'll take you right to Soldier Field in Chicago, Charlie. David Craig to Rashaan Salam. 11 yards and a touchdown. Salam's first touchdown of the year with the extra point. The Bears moved to within a touchdown. 17-10, about 4.5 to play in the third, Charlie.
Thank you, Greg. Here we're moving on the 1-minute mark. Time to play in the third. Denver up by 4, 14-10. And Cincinnati on the move. We got flags.
Loud in here, Alfred. You got to hear that whistle.
We can hear the whistle up here.
False start. Prior to the snap, number 61. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on Melvin Tootin.
Oh, he definitely moved early.
Oh.
But Williams definitely didn't hear this whistle. Listen.
Oh, he could have heard it.
Could have heard it.
They should have dropped a flag on that, too.
Could have heard it. Heck, he hit him 3-4 seconds after the whistle started blowing.
Should be a dead ball foul, because the play had been blown dead. But it wasn't. First and 15, 38-yard line.
You heard that term, defensive end running unimpeded to the quarterback. That was a lack of impediment there.
Couple of false pumps and then a slide. So Jeff Blake couldn't find anybody. And he picks up around 7 yards on the play. John Mobley was there to cover him. And we'll take the countdown now to the end of the third. They're not going to. And that official Randy Cross to start the fourth quarter. Cincinnati has the ball at their own 45-yard line, second down and 8. Garrison Hurst has rushed for 69 yards in 9 carries in the ball game for Cincinnati. Blake now to throw. Has pressure. He's going to be sacked.
Jumpy gathers.
Forklift and all.
Well, you know, actually, Charlie, when you got a reputation for a forklift, you know what guys try to do? They say, the heck with a forklift, I'm going to cut block you. I'm going down to your legs. Well, there's a product of being 6'7", 6'8". He gets cut by the cut block, but he doesn't stay down. That's the problem with the cut block. You can do it on a 3-step drop because you got plenty of time. But you cut a guy like Jumpy Gathers, he's not going to stop. Now you've cut him once. Now you're asking for the forklift because you're not going to try it twice.
Third down and 13. That is his third sack of the ball game for Jumpy. Blake sets up, scrambles out, throws Pickens, juggles it. No, incomplete. Did not have possession. You're right, good call. Carl Pickens juggling the ball. Randy Hilliard was there for Denver.
The problems continue for Jeff Blake and his wide receivers. They have been a non-factor. Look at Hilliard giving all that room to Pickens. The ball's delivered. 1, 2, 3 catches, no feed in, equals no yards, and a Lee Johnson punt for David Shula.
And the return is Todd Kitchen for Denver. This is his 5th punt of the ballgame. He was averaged 55.5 yards a kick. Here's another great one. Davis just lets it go. It's going to be down inside the 5-yard line.
Wow, that is a fabulous punt.
And now are they in trouble?
Well, if you're a pessimist, yeah. If you're an optimist, you get a chance, especially as a group of offensive linemen. You can run against the NFL's #3 rushing defense. You can absolutely rip the heart out of a team running the ball well down here.
And Terrell Davis works his way out to the 6-yard line. So he'll pick up 4 yards on the play. A chance for you now to update yourself to watch the ticker on what is going on in the NFL today.
You're in this situation and you're an offense. You're thinking get first down. If you're a defense, you're thinking penetration and tackling. If you sit and watch or miss tackles, you can let an offense out of a big hole.
Terrell Davis and Reggie Rivers. Elway to throw. Goes deep down the far sideline. We'll have a flag. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver. They're going to call pass interference. And they'll call it on Ashley Ambrose. What happened? He intentionally underthrew Anthony. Anthony stopped, came back, and when he did, then Ambrose got a fistful of jersey and is going to lose that argument. It's a 37-yard penalty.
Charlie, that wasn't much of an argument there. It was a yuck fest.
Yeah.
Ambrose having a little yuck with the official. Well, it is pass interference. It's a wonderful call by Gary Kubiak. It's concentration by Anthony Miller. And if you're Cincinnati and you're on defense, can you really be surprised that the Broncos and Elway try to take a downtown shot?
Denver at their own 41-yard line.
Here's that chance to run the ball.
Elway goes to an audible, and he hands off to Terrell Davis. Rico McDonald is there. Gets a couple of yards.
Yeah, Terrell Davis is going to come away from this game playing the Cincinnati rush defense, and he will spend some time tomorrow in a little whirlpool with ice in that water at about 45 degrees, soothing the bumps and bruises he's getting because he's taking some shots, and this defense is really making him earn his yardage.
2nd and 7. Elway to throw. It's incomplete. Ed McCaffrey. McCaffrey has a pinched nerve. We thought he might not return. Well, obviously bumps and bruises. He got hurt everywhere. He still returned.
Well, he's got another chance to spend some time on the ground, and the reason he's been spending so much time on the ground is Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator. But you don't think coaches don't get fired up? Look at the flush in Larry's face. I mean, he's yelling those signals down to the sideline. I mean, he's as excited right now as his guys on the field.
3rd and 7.
Elway's been killing them on 3rd.
Shotgun. Pressure. Sack. 5th sack in the ballgame for Cincinnati. Rico McDonald gets this one.
Well, you can give it to McDonald. You can say a lot of things about this play, but the bottom line, John Elway's been killing them on 3rd down, been hitting them for the big play. And the reason this is successful, a great call by Larry Peccatello and his defensive staff. 5 sacks of Elway today. They have come after John Elway, and they've made some great calls on the blitzes.
Tom Ruin kicking to Greg Myers. Myers takes it and is dropped in his tracks. Myers last year won the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back for Colorado State. We've got a timeout. Back in a moment. Denver by 4. You know, we've been playing well, but we're still behind.
Oh, God. Charlie. I know. Look at that.
That's a former announcer. I know him well.
I don't know if it is, but that should be an endangered species. It is. And it would be if I had anything to do anything about it.
Well, there goes my old train of thought.
Rhythm offensively. Jeff Blake, Bruce Coslett, this offense has to get their rhythm back now.
Blake sets, steps forward, throws on the run, and it's not caught. His wide receivers. This time, Darnay Scott. They've had a struggle with receiving today, haven't they?
Well, you know, right now, the wide receivers are a non-factor. Scott and Pickens have been stuffed by this Denver defense. There have been some drops, but I think all in all, you have to look at Ray Crockett. You have to look at Lionel Washington and defensive coordinator Greg Robinson and say, hey, look, this is game plan and execution. They've said you're going to beat us with guys besides the fast ones.
Second down. Is there anything on the ground? That's John Carter.
John Mobley comes up and lights his Christmas tree.
Now, what did Mobley tell us yesterday? He said, you know, I'm worried about what the offense is doing and looking at the thing. Can I recognize him now? I'm just going to play. The old John is back.
Well, you know, he appealed the fine by the league for his hit on 49er quarterback Gino Torretta in the preseason. He lost it. He paid his $10,000. He said, well, you know, I've been a little hesitant and not really hitting much. He's over it.
Scott and Pickens are two wide receivers for Cincinnati, each with only one reception. Far side, Pickens has this one. Nice inside-out move, first down. With his second reception of the ball game, with Tyrone Braxton chasing him.
Charlie, this is pure improv. Jeff Blake throws this out, but if he's not juggling this ball, Washington gets him. Watch. 1, 2, 3 juggles. You know, you want to say he's just trying to do something different and making a move and, you know, doing the Macarena like that thing on the dugout was doing earlier. But that was just, he was trying to control the ball.
It's a bingo.
It's a tiger. It's
the thing on the dugout?
That thing on the dugout. He does that dance, he's a thing.
First down. Eric Bieniemy gets the call this time. John Mobley is again there for Denver. And the old John is back.
Well, if I was Eric Bieniemy, I'd get my big guys.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
If you're going to jaw with an opponent, do you pick somebody you got to look up to when you jaw? That's not a very good idea, is it?
Hey, Bieniemy looks up to David Shula. And David Shula looks up to about everybody on his team, besides Eric Bieniemy.
Well, he doesn't have a choice, does he? I mean, he's got to look at. He's got a jaw. He's got to look at.
I mean, he's gonna look up at anybody who wants to fight.
He got flagged.
Michael Dean.
Garrison Hurst getting the call.
7 lengths. They don't need 7 yards on this. It's a great average because that line's blocking. The key is this defense is going to be pinching inside, pinching towards the quarterback for a sneak. You got to get pushed.
He's got it. No question. Out to the 44-yard line. And the first down.
Good push inside. We talked about, you know, the offensive line. You got Rich Bram there. You got Derek Brills. You've got Scott Brumfield in the middle of that line. And those are exactly the white pants that Blake's going to try to get behind. Watch the interior 3. All that push all came from those inside 3 guys. And it's a safe place for a quarterback to get. Because those 3 rear ends back-to-back look like a drive-in movie theater. Jeff Blake sitting back there.
First down, 44-yard line, play action fake. Far side, Pickens has it, and he's going to be out at the 45. That'll be a first down. Like Carl Pickens. Lionel Washington was there for Denver.
Well, remember, Charlie, the rhythm is back in the offense. Things are moving. They're getting the rhythm. And when you get the rhythm going, you get the feet dancing, and you get inbounds. And the receivers are also back, along with the rhythm.
Mike Shanahan said about Carl Pickens, he reminds me of Jerry Rice. When the ball's in the air, he says, it's mine.
Well, they're still lamenting not drafting him back in '87 here.
Jeff Cothran, the fullback, gets one of his few calls. He'd only carried twice this season coming into the ball game. Ernest Jones with the tackle. Blake now has completed 13 of 22 passes, and 5 receivers have 2 or more receptions. And Bruce Cosett now has gone upstairs. He started the ball game upstairs. Second quarter, he was downstairs. Second half, he's now back upstairs.
Well, he was on the sideline, and he had the rhythm going with Blake before. Now he's up in the booth, and the rhythm is still there from further away.
Second down and 8. Play action fake. Everybody buys it. Great protection. Good coverage downfield. There was simply nobody to throw to. John Mobley finally chased him out.
I tell you, Charlie, the only guys that bought the play action were the defensive lineman and the inside linebacker for Denver. The defensive backs did a wonderful job of ignoring the play action fake and staying with the receivers.
3rd down and 8, moving on the 7-minute mark. Time remaining in the ball game. Denver leads at 14-10. 10th play of this drive. It started at the 21-yard line.
Play clock got down to 9 seconds, and Blake had to call a timeout.
So we've got a timeout. Wilson in the ball game. The Broncos have been sacked 5. Total of 9. 3rd and 8. Perhaps one of those plays that becomes a turning point in the ball game. And he overthrows Carl Pickett. Not a good selection. Pickett was well caught. In the same scenario, Lee Johnson kicking to Todd Kinchin. Kinchin almost overruns the ball. Has his 11-15 now to the 20. And a pretty good return. He's had a bit of a struggle in the ball game. And we've got caps and flags and everything else in the world flying as we had some contact.
Can be called on, because in a game this tight, games turn on turnovers and stupid mistakes. You got a Bronco down. Looks like Hilliard, 21.
It is Randy Hilliard. And the penalty against Denver. It's a dead ball foul, so it means after the play was over, so they will assess it from the spot. That's what they were checking.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team, number 56, after the play was over. 15 yards from the end of the run, 1st down.
But you've taken an average kick, a good great field position from the defense. Ball's down, plays over, guys are starting to leave the field, and he makes a stupid mistake.
Denver starts from their 14-yard line. 6:29 time remaining. And here's Terrell Davis. And another flag down as Davis goes to the 25-yard line. Should the play stand up, he'll be over 100 yards.
It's going to be an incidental face mask.
Placement, 5 yards on the defense, number 26. 5 yards from the end of the run, 1st down.
Remember, if you grab it intentionally and yank, it's 15. If you just happen to get on it, it's 5. Let's see. You got to be kidding me. Nobody got near this guy's face mask. I don't know what that guy's looking at, but it ended this football game.
Another phantom call, 1st down, 25-yard line. Terrell Davis has run officially now for 98 yards. He needs a couple more to get the 100 for his 4th straight ball game. And this should do it. Now, this is the running attack of the Denver Broncos. And we talked with John Elway, who loves to throw the ball. But one of the things that this does is that it works the clock. Now 5:45 and counting. Takes up a lot of time. And he says keeps our defense off of the field. And so when they come back in crunch time, they will be fresh.
See, Charlie, Denver practices this situation. This is that 4 to 5 minute offense you practice. You practice on getting 1st down, running the ball, and taking the air out of the ball and the time off the clock.
2nd down and 8. Elway down the sideline. It's incomplete. Ed McCaffrey, who's been really beat up today, he just got hung up along the sideline and couldn't break free from the cornerback who had the cover.
Well, look at his elbow. He's got blood all over his pants. He's got blood on his elbow from scraping it on the ass.
That's all his blood. That's not anybody else.
But we're not counting internal injuries. This guy is falling on the ball, taking helmets in the ribs, helmets in the back, shots to the face.
On the defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Never saw that flag, but it's illegal contact against Corey Sawyer, number 23.
And you have to figure that it was on Ed McCaffrey because he got hung up after that 5-yard zone that they can chuck him along the sideline. He couldn't break free. The ball at the 38-yard line, 1st down. For Denver, they lead by 4, and they have 5:18 left. Here's the pitch. Terrell Davis comes back over the middle to the 43-yard line. So he can add 5 more to his total. He's around 107, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, and he's going to the left side behind the all-pro Zimmerman. Remember, he's gotten wide out here. Well, this time he goes wide, and he comes up inside. The Bengals are expecting it. He's got Carswell, he's got Zimmerman, he's got Diaz-Infante. Gets a great cut block on Tovar, the middle linebacker. Remember, Diaz-Infante, 63, is in there for Mark Schlereth, who went out early with a sprained ankle.
105 yards officially. Elway working the clock. He's using every second. He has a clock in his head. And here is Davis up the middle. He's going to be short of the first down. But he'll still peel off some more time from the clock. Steve Tovar with the tackle.
Yeah, a very important part of this, 4 or 5 minute offense when you're trying to control the ball and run time off the clock is being sure your running backs keep their arms and hands on the ball. Watch Davis when he gets the ball now every time. If he gets near any kind of contact, you're going to see him wrap both arms around that ball to be sure there's no fumble.
3rd down and 1. Davis for 109. Hit in the backfield that slowed him, and there's nothing there.
The first disruptor was Wilkinson. He gets way into the backfield and made him dodge 2-3 yards deep. And one thing, remember I said when you get near contact, you better cover it up? Well, he got near contact in his backfield, 2 yards deep. He got both arms over the ball.
And if you hadn't had it covered up, that's one of those plays where you can grab an elbow and the ball will pop loose.
Exactly. And, as hard as they were trying to take time off the clock, give a lot of credit to Larry Peccatello's defense. They stiffened when they had to, and they're going to get Jeff Blake and the offense the ball back with about 3.5 minutes to go by the time they get back on the field.
I have the feeling that somebody requested this measurement. Broncos have 1-on-1 and 4th down conversions this year. They won't go for it here. They'll go ahead and kick it away. Too much time left, 3:41. Tom Ruin will be kicking to Greg Myers. Here's the kick. He wants to send it straight up and straight down, so they'll stay away from it. He gets a Denver bounce, and it'll be down around the 16 or the 17-yard line. So Cincinnati down by 4 has 3:19 to go.
Number 8 to get that group rhythm back quick.
Cincinnati has 3:19 to go, 83 yards. Here's the screen left side. Eric Bieniemy behind the screen is out to the 25-yard line. Steve Atwater with the tackle. Kijana Carter again as a wide receiver in this set. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2, 2:55 and counting time remaining. Pickens goes wide to the far side. Carter's in the slot right. That's Bieniemy in motion. Over the middle, pass is complete. Tony McGee has the first down.
Well, that's the 3rd catch for McGee, but it's the first one since about 8 minutes into that first quarter. They have finally found that part of their passing game. That was one of the keys to their early rhythm. You're not seeing a hurry-up offense. You're not seeing the 2-minute type drill. Remember, many inexperienced people up front, you can't afford a mental mistake.
First down, 37-yard line, play action. Spinning away from trouble, good move, going deep. Has a man with a step. It's going to be close. Whoa.
What a play by Crockett.
Darnay Scott.
Crockett is extremely lucky. He knocked it away with the left hand, but I don't know if anybody saw that right hand, because that right hand was doing some business on the back of Darnay Scott. Look at that right hand right there. He gets the left one up. I'll tell you, that's just good defense. He might have been pushing, he might have been grabbing, but you know, sometimes the other guys get paid too, and Blake finally got his shot to go long, but it was great defense.
Scott has been held to 1 reception for 5 yards in the ball game. Jeff Blake was out of time. He was grounding the ball to take the incompletion. 2-minute warning coming with 1:59 left. Denver. Cincinnati has the ball at their own 37-yard line, and they face a 3rd down and 10.
Well, you know, that first down play that went long was no big deal because that was kind of ad-lib by Blake. Really unfortunate for David Shula's offense on that 2nd down play. To set up 3rd and 10 in this situation really enables the Denver defense to go into the attack mode here and come after Blake. This could be your ball game.
And a double slot left, and then we see motion. That's the tight end coming across Tony McGee. Blake has pressure, scramble throws. It's way over the head of Tony McGee. So it'll be 4th down and 10 with 1:54 left. Now do you go for it?
I don't think you have much of a choice here. You're inside of 2 minutes. You're down by 4 points. You've got to have a touchdown, unless you have a lot of faith that you can somehow work a turnover. This is not a bad decision. This is a team that needs a win with an offense that needs to make something happen, taking a gamble.
From their own 37-yard line, 4th down and 10. David Dunn across in motion. His pressure gets the pass off. Nobody home. Nobody even near where Jeff Blake was throwing.
Charlie, there's 2 sides to that. Yeah, there's no one there. I think the defense for Denver did a fabulous job of not only covering the people downfield, but of rushing the passer. I mean, the entire guys up front, all of them. I don't know if you're talking about Michael Dean, you're talking about Jumpy, you're talking about Dan Williams and Alfred Williams. They are getting after Blake. And when you get after a quarterback like that, he doesn't get a real look at an offense or defense down the field. He's got to trust glimpses, and he's not getting much of a glimpse either.
And for Jeff Blake, 4 incompletions in a row. Denver takes over on downs at the 37-yard line of Cincinnati, and they have a 1st down. And Terrell Davis will work on his rushing stats in the ballgame.
So, you know, you look at it here. If they stuff this play here, sometimes sure is going to run off the clock, but it's out of Elam's range if that leg is as bad as he said.
3rd down and 6. Elway throws. It's Shannon Sharp. Oh, he's going to have it. Yes.
Elway out of the pocket to the right side.
To number 84. That's magic.
To his pacifier.
Yes. Bo Orlando with the tackle. Elway now has completed 23 of 37 and has thrown for over 335 yards.
And, you know, when you're on the opposing sideline, you saw what Shanahan just did, though. When he's not wearing a headset anymore, and he took the headset, and he took the cords, and he handed it to somebody behind him and said, I'll just sort of be a spectator for the rest of this one. That's not good. It's not usually a good sign. It's either you're getting beat bad or you're beating them bad. 1st down at the 25, and for Denver, 8 different receivers have caught an Elway pass here today. And you got to say, like David Shula told us yesterday, Charlie, coming into the season, his worry was defense. It wasn't offense. Right now, the worry is the offense. It isn't the defense. This defense is pretty doggone good. The offense is not executing. The wide receivers were basically a non-factor today. T-John Carter was definitely a non-factor. Garrison Hurst stepped up and played well, but Blake had some bad interceptions and some bad decisions, and it hurt him.
So we'll take the official countdown here. Terrell Davis rushing for 112 yards. The Denver Broncos coming from behind, led by Mike Shanahan as Pat Boland, the owner. And that makes the final score Denver 14 and Cincinnati 10. Denver's record is now 4-1. The Bengals go. You're healthy.
It was a good day for the passing game. I'd say we broke out a little bit today, but they did a good job, took our running game away, and we were able to come through with some plays in the passing game.
Especially early, the passing game was a factor. You threw for a couple hundred yards in that first half as you were very patient with the run, because Terrell eventually did get over 100 yards rushing.
Well, that's great, and we just hung in there, and those guys up front always get a lot of credit, but they were tough, and they started coming after us, and we were able to, in the second half when we got up 14-10, able to run the ball a little bit and use the clock.
Tell me the addition, not the addition actually, because he's been there since last year, but the breakout of Terrell Davis.
Well, I tell you what, he's just gets better and better week in and week out, and last year he had a great year. Too bad he got hurt the last 2 games of last year, and really he didn't have the great year that he'd like to because he missed those last 2. But this year he's just come out, he's staying healthy, and he's getting upfield, and he feels comfortable with the offense. So he's just playing unbelievable right now.
And this helps you with the offense.
Oh, sure. Anytime you can get that running game going, it sure takes that pressure out the passing game.
You know, John, we talked a little bit yesterday about your elbow. People have asked you a lot about that lately, but how about that touchdown pass to Anthony Miller? Anybody that had any doubts? I had to love that pass because it was beautiful.
Well, thanks. It was, and we've been working on that route, and Anthony ran a great route and got open for him and got the protection to throw it. So it was a nice little throw.
John, thanks for staying around.
Rarefied air of Denver, Andre Coleman, one of the top kick returners in all of football, awaits his chance. The Chargers as successful the last couple of years as anyone in the league, more successful in returning kicks for touchdowns. Elam gets it started. High spinner, 6-yard line Coleman. Tries to get outside. And the former Kansas State star knocked out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line. Elam himself was in on the tackle. Here comes Stan Humphries and the San Diego offense. Big forward wall of Parker, Moten, Courtney Hall, Davis, and Birdie, who played at Colorado. Humphries has Leonard Russell. He was the top runner in Denver 2 years ago. Tony Martin, one of the top pass catchers in the NFL. Andre Coleman, you just saw. Shannon Mitchell and Alfred Papunu as they used a tight end H-back concept. Martin out to the right, Coleman left. Shannon Mitchell lined up at fullback. He's the H-back. Russell nailed in the backfield by Michael Dean Perry. Lightning quick Perry playing as light as he's been since a college sophomore. Williams, Lodish, and Alfred Williams with 4.5 sacks join Perry in the 4-3 alignment. Mobley, the rookie from Kutztown State. Aldridge, Romanowski, what a find he has been here in Denver. Crockett in Washington, Atwater and Braxton, veteran defensive backfield. A loss of 3. Second down, Humphries. The blitz by Aldridge, and the throw incomplete as Humphries ducked by Alan Aldridge, number 57. And we welcome those of you who have watched the upset in South Florida. Seattle 22, the Dolphins 15. Just underway here at Mile High Stadium. Third play of the game. The Chargers lose 3 on first down running, and Humphries lucky that he's still alive after being decked on a blitz. Third down, and down he goes. What a defensive start